From a nondescript basement in the heart of Idaho, two inexperienced, unqualified, and completely lacking guys decided to start a podcast. Out of the depths of their twisted, immature minds spawned what is now the Adulting is Hard, the Ken and Kyle podcast. Be warned, the advice is terrible, humor is borderline insane, and the topics are irrelevant. Proceed at your own risk.
Sideways. Yeah, just go sideways.
Society is just taking a dump, especially the economy right now. Well, we're back, guys. This is Adulting is Hard, the Ken and Kyle podcast. I am your host, Kyle, and the ugly douchebag over there is...
That's the nicest thing you've said about me. My name is Ken. Actually, I'm a human being.
That was your name. I forgot.
I'm a human being.
Yeah, and anybody worried about social distancing, we are practicing that right now, especially because I don't even want to be anywhere near
I think
you.
It was by mistake when we bought this table. It just happened to be this length. If not,
so
we'd be all crowded.
So we could call this like the quarantine desk, or
there you
the
go.
Social distancing.
This worked out. Shout out to Restore for secondhand furniture.
Yeah. And if you've been living under a rock, everybody knows that the pandemic is happening right now. The coronavirus, COVID-19 is.
And if you don't think it's serious.
We don't even know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You better check that shit real quick.
Yeah,
it's serious.
I mean, as far as just a while ago, our governor declared a stay-at-home order.
That was on Friday.
Yes.
So what's today?
Correct. Who cares?
Jesus, today's only Saturday. Huh?
Yeah.
Shit, it was yesterday.
Yeah,
I thought we were under quarantine for like the whole week.
It felt
that's how it feels.
It?
Jesus, that's the longest 24 hours I've had. Holy shit.
But, so only essential businesses are open. So my main thing is, so what about people who consider essential oils essential to them because they don't take medicine?
Healing crystals.
Their name is right in there.
Right, it says, yeah. I'm sure there's a lavender something you can smear on your taint or something to defend yourself against the coronavirus.
I'm sure they got mystical rocks and healing crystals.
Good luck with that shit, folks.
Oils.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I had told you that because...
I should have got in on that pyramid scheme at the beginning. Look at it.
I would have.
This thing's a moneymaker for him.
Pet rocks, selling pet rocks.
We can start that again. Most people aren't even old enough to remember that shit. People don't remember them.
This is the perfect time for that to make a comeback.
Yeah, we could just pick rocks in the backyard and sell them. That's essential.
This one looks like a Sheila.
This looks like a Karen.
That's a Karen.
That's
right
a Karen.
There. That's a Karen.
Let
That's
me tell you about my
essential
oils. I'm sure we'll get hate mail for that, but you know what? If that's what you're banking your life on.
What, pet rocks or
no essential oils? Just being Karen. It's just bad enough.
And you know what was funny is we were both watching the governor's speech when he did the stay-at-home order.
Yes.
Is that one of the guys, it was almost comical. One of the guys in the back said, "So are the liquor stores staying open?"
Yeah, that was like the third question.
That's not really a priority we have right now. We haven't really thought into that.
Chuckled at that, but it is essential.
It actually is essential coming from especially the drug abuse community. Mm-hmm. I could just hear people, at least the counselors, screaming, "No, don't do that! You take away alcohol from somebody who's deeply alcoholic."
Yes,
I mean that can kill them.
They're going to take up a bed in your hospital. They're going to take up a bed in there.
He gets sick. He goes into the hospital and takes up that bed.
And right now, having a couple vices or whatever, this is just don't go wrong with it.
Yeah, this isn't the time to quit cold turkey, especially with something that could kill you, such as alcohol or. Benzos, stuff like that.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Get,
any of your
the access to it.
Your benzodiazepines, things like that. Just be careful, folks, with your medications and alcohol intake, but also don't abruptly stop because mental health issues will arise from quarantine, and it can be all exasperated. Just don't play with that.
I mean, that's really the only thing in the news that you see so far. Not much is filtering through, other than if it's coronavirus related.
Exactly, and that's actually what scares me.
Yeah.
Because last year they were obsessed with mass shootings.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just absolutely obsessed with that. Well, the whole world was.
Of course.
And from my understanding, we haven't had one. But nobody's applauding that. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, we haven't. I mean, that guy tried to blow up the hospital. Where was it? North Carolina?
Something like that, yeah. If I remember,
like
I caught it in a glance. He was arrested with wanting to blow up a hospital. So
pieces of
the
shit
crazies
out there.
the crazies don't go away because everybody else has to stay home.
You know, they're not like, oh, this ruins my plans.
Yeah.
Actually amplifies. They're like, oh, well,
actually,
I know
that takes away.
hospital police.
Well, yeah, that's a target-rich environment, unfortunately, for some.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Yeah.
But yeah, as ESPN was pointing out, or one of the analysts at ESPN he's saying that, you know, he doesn't even believe that there's going to be a football season this year.
I think we don't even look to organize sports again on the professional level, collegiate level, whatever, for at least a year from now.
Because as the the director of whoever he is, the doctor, he was coming out and saying that we're still 12 to 18 months away from a cure, basically, or a vaccine for
a vaccine,
So
and that's just in time for its return next year.
Right.
Yeah,
so
think
how
about
are you
that
going to
way.
go and put players on a field or on a court or on a baseball diamond after all, you know, say 3 months down the line? We still don't have the vaccine out there. There's still potential for either more infections to come or secondary infections.
Absolutely.
You know, so
and there's been news of
about.
secondary infections in China from people who quarantined or supposedly went through the symptoms, and then they reopened theaters and some things like that, and now they've had reinfection rates. So if that doesn't scare you enough to
and the U.S. has officially passed every other country in the world with corona case positive tests.
Yeah.
Or positive cases.
Now you can start on that one.
Yeah.
Anybody here seen an apocalyptic horror movie? Seen how shit goes sideways so fast.
Yeah.
And here we are.
You know, and I have to call bullshit. I keep seeing this stupid thing floating around on social media about the 5G cell phone towers.
Oh, that this was all
I'm sorry, people.
a way to deflect and keep China from putting out 5G technologies?
Yes.
I've heard that one. That was one of my favorite stupid-ass articles of the week.
I mean, we can get into all kind of theories on how this virus can... I mean...
But it's too late to even do that right now.
People do not eat bats. There's certain animals
if that's where it
on this
happened,
planet we should not consume. I believe bats to be one of them.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, right now it's too late to even worry about where it started.
No,
or even where it's going to end.
Exactly.
Wash your hands, folks. Stay safe. Stay home. Unless you're selling essential oils, I guess you're allowed to
who would have thought
have parties.
That the price of the U.S. currency has now become toilet paper.
So much.
It's replacing the dollar. I mean, you're going to start working for, I'll build your house. Give me
16 rolls of double ply or triple ply or something.
It's got to be triple ply.
It's got to be triple ply. That's the ball and stuff right there.
I only use the triple ply.
Hey, but you know the best part about everybody that hoards toilet paper and all the other things is their dumbasses forgot about the most important stuff on the shelves. And that's called food. So, you know, when you go in there and you see some of the main staples that you need are in abundance on the shelves, but you can't get toilet or paper towels or toilet paper.
Right.
Yeah, well, you can't shit yourself if you're starving to death.
Well, I mean, dysentery.
Well, yeah, if you catch that, and I think everyone thought that this thing was like an intestinal issue. No, I don't think anybody shit themselves to death. It's a respiratory, like SARS. And,
it's definitely a respiratory virus.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just one of those things are crazy right now.
Yeah.
I was not expecting 2020 to take a turn like it. It was actually going really well.
It was.
2020
up until this point.
It was doing great. I was enjoying this year. It really wasn't that bad.
2020 is like, you think you're having a great year?
Here's a roundhouse kick
Hold my
to
beer.
the balls, dude. Hold my beer. Yeah, pretty much like, oh yeah, you're fucked, man. It just literally, do we cancel 2020? Can we do that? Just say.
I don't know. I think if we have a
psychologically
universal consensus that 2020 should be, we just move right into 2021.
Yeah, to shorten the year by like 8 months.
That might work. You know, the whole sunglass. You know, on our last podcast, we did have the life hacks where if you're having a shitty day, just put on shitty sunglasses.
No, just put on sunglasses and you're just not having a shitty night.
Day.
Sound advice.
I don't think that works for a whole year. I think that's just a one-day thing.
That's
so
just in the moment.
Shitty year. What do you put on to have that year go by? No.
I'm thinking, I can't. Highly medicated days, probably. I mean,
no, you put on a Hanson CD and just kind of. Bop bondu.
If I hear that replaying from my neighbor's house, I can't.
I can't
guarantee
right
people's safety. I just can't. I can't even.
I can't guarantee my own sanity on top of the safety of others around me.
That's just torturous right there. I'm curious to be. So, what's the first big show do you think's gonna come out? That's what I'm wondering. Like the first venue of something. Because this is a moneymaker for somebody. So, say we get to the vaccine point, organized sports are in transition. Okay, seasons haven't started. Who do you think is going to come out and throw the biggest show for the world? and Phil fucking
like end of quarantine rave or
somebody's gonna jump on this and make
whatever.
money. Hold me to that. Someone's gonna jump on this and make money.
Oh, I mean, never let a good crisis go to waste, right?
Exactly. But someone's gonna come out and feel like just an insane amount of people or something.
Well,
And someone's already organizing the return to the. I mean, artists, I can see, I understand them doing that though. On a constant basis, you're going to assume that you're going to return to your career, but who is making
some
the moves
form
that they're
of
the first?
normality.
Yeah, who's the first publicized venue that people get to hang out and stuff? And what's it going to be?
I don't know. But
This is a moment where the
we got
country as a
plenty of
whole.
time. Maybe we should come up with that idea.
This country as a whole, this is a chance for them, instead of a paid venue or an artist or whatever, when basically the doors open on the vaults like in Fallout, right? And you just go back out and you re-socialize
You gotta shade
safely.
your eyes. Just
Oh yeah,
there's something
yeah,
like-
dude. Everyone's gonna be sunburned when they go out for the first day.
Yeah, and it's really sad though, especially in my case when the self quarantine doesn't affect my social life whatsoever.
No, but I literally thought
I've been practicing for this moment. For
this just happened
31
yesterday,
years.
and look at how we were already today. Just what we watched 6 hours straight of the X-Men '90s
X-Men,
cartoon.
yeah.
Jesus, Jubilee is the worst
Shooting Nerf guns
superhero.
at stuffed animals or targets and allocating points per target. Like, yeah, I mean, this is what it's coming
Day
to.
one of quarantine.
For me, this is already over a week now. This is like
yesterday since the announcement, though, it's day one.
Oh yeah,
Not the fact that say I'm told to go home from work and stuff. I'm talking about the day that the issue and order came out.
the official.
So this is
came
like
out
day
stay
one
at
of
home.
self-isolation, and it sucks ball sack, dude.
Yeah,
I mean-
I don't know. People, you just see people have so much time on their hands. Like we watched the mashup of music videos. Yeah,
Where it was like Rage Against the Machine and
it's great.
Creedence Clearwater Revival. I mean, just I don't need an excuse to get into the rabbit hole of YouTube. I can just do that anyways. But now, random weird shit showing up on recommended or whatever. So I'm like, all right, let's see what it is.
And then we have our Trump checks coming out for $1,200, a one-time payment. I mean, I know at least in my case, I'm single. I pay for rent. I have a car payment. I pay my utilities. A cell phone bill, internet bill, electricity, gas, water, all that stuff. That's gonna barely cover all that.
Yes.
And so what if my work doesn't come back? Because as I had said before, I work with an elective surgery center where we do surgery on eyes, and we're completely 100% shut down right now. And so how long is that going to be shut down? If it's shut down for another month,
you're gonna have to look at something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start feeling like I'm trying to get into Uber, at least drive Uber, so a little income.
Yeah, but I think
coming
even
my
that's
way.
not going to be
Well, not only that is that
you have to wear that plague mask I told you to order.
What I had found out is that the company that does the background checks is based in California. They're not even open right now. Yeah, they're not even open doing background checks, so they're not even taking new people for Uber. So and even around here it's hard to get it, even though they say a lot of jobs are hiring for the the in between time until they can get back to their regular job. It's damn near impossible to find a job doing that.
Yeah, no, they're gonna say work is out there, but
think of how many people are.
I'd be scared as an employer. I understand you're trying to keep your business afloat, and then you're like, oh, I need to bring on a couple staff.
Right.
I mean, you're doing all kinds of new shit, or like say you've had the same staff for years, and then you're bringing in new people, hoping to learn the trade or whatever it may be, and then the illness. I mean, this virus thing. I think it's just. Every decision you make, I'm not the guy who used to use like the wipes on the shopping carts at the store. You know what I mean?
No,
because I grew up in the 70s, 80s, and shit like lead paint in the houses, and I joke that everything, all the poisonings began in food and water all that back then.
Right.
And I'm fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to chill on my baby crib that had lead paint all over it.
Exactly. Now I'm just like, I don't even want to go outside. Like earlier when I was upstairs, when you came down here, I saw this guy, and I'm gonna look for him again. He's out here just acting weird, walking around, sunglasses on, a hat, like stopping and looking at stuff or whatever. I know he saw me. Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
too much free time.
You got to watch everybody now.
Time.
Too much free time, and this is only one day into it. Fuck.
Exactly.
We're screwed.
But kind of segueing into that segment, we actually have
nice segue.
We
just say it.
Yeah.
Don't even just say it. Segue. This is a segue.
We have 2 interviews coming up for you guys. We were able to talk with the economic city planner for the city of Twin Falls, right here.
But that's not where we're at.
In Idaho.
That's not where we're at, though. Remember.
Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Just believe us.
Just believe us. It exists.
We actually talk all things about pandemic, how it's affecting the city, and the finances.
It was really cool
going forward. It's a great interview. I think you're going to really enjoy it. And then we have another local guy, a radio DJ. He's actually really popular around here.
He's a legend.
Celebrity. Yeah, he's
musician,
a legend. Dr. Nick Redbone's going to be joining us.
They named a sandwich after him.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's the pinnacle for me. Have food named after me.
He eats that sandwich. We should ask him that question.
Yeah, ask him about that one. That'll be a little plug. Shout out for the sandwich company downtown, Main Street, Twin Falls.
But we don't live there.
We don't live there though.
We just know from a friend.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah. Quick plug.
Yeah, we're actually asking him a lot of random questions.
We try to lighten this one.
Keep it fun because with all this stuff going on with the economy and
dark days
among us, pandemic and everybody freaking out in fear, we need to bring a little comedy and humor back.
This man is known for that.
Get some people some laughs. So we did have a great discussion with him. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna go ahead and take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Guys, my name is Shayla and I'm Ken's wife. I usually don't let Ken act on any of his ideas because I gotta tell you, they're mostly all terrible and Kyle does not help. But when the idea of this broadcast was brought up to me, I actually laughed harder than I normally do at the idea, but I eventually caved in. Surprisingly, it turned out to be a good idea. If you haven't listened to their other broadcast yet, do yourself a favor and go over to SoundCloud, YouTube, or Spotify and laugh at their immature jokes and terrible life advice. Definitely. You can also find them on Facebook or Twitter at Is Adulting. I promise it'll be worth your time. Give them a like, a follow, a share, because I'm tired of Ken sitting on my couch in his boxers yelling snacks. But seriously, they do appreciate all the support and feedback from you guys. Hope you enjoy the rest of this episode.
All right, guys, welcome back from the break. I hope you had enough time to go take a piss, wash your hands, wipe your ass like you're supposed to.
Wash hands.
And just to let everybody know, we are 6 feet away at this recording studio,
least,
so
yes.
we're following direction here. We're
social distancing.
Social distancing.
And we have our first return guest.
Yeah, it's the first return guest because the first time we made I would say a learning error.
Curve.
Yeah.
Part of the curve.
There's a little.
So we've already interviewed this gentleman, Nate, earlier, about 2 hours ago or so, and then realized that half of the audio was muted. Not going to say anybody. Who it was.
You're staring at me. Why are you staring at me?
Because you're the only other person in the room. But this man has been very patient, is willing to come back, and we're going to go back over some of the information again. So
we got with you, we have Nate Murray, who is the economic director of Twin Falls. Is that correct, Nate?
Yeah, so my technical title is the Director of Economic Development and Urban Renewal.
All right.
City of Twin Falls.
Okay.
So for our listeners, can you explain yourself a little bit? Like, give us a little introduction, what you do, what your job entitles, how you got started into this kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. So, my background was in like city planning way back when, and then I had this chance in the city I was working for previously to Twin Falls to take over a project that was the redevelopment of a former U.S. Steel site. And so I kind of cut my chops on turning this site that was kind of not very productive into a productive use. So we subdivided the property, cleaned up some of the brownfield stuff that was there, redelineated wetlands, and then started selling property off to, I guess, end users, like, people that make labels or people that bend metal and that sort of thing that make our
primarily commercial.
Yeah, so industrial uses. And one day I was sitting on Twitter and I clicked on this link that said, economic development director for Twin Falls. And I had grown up in Boise and I'd never really been to Twin Falls except for twice to like play baseball when I was a kid. And I hit this link and like 3 hours later, I'm still on it, just learning all I can about this community. It just seemed like a job that I really wanted. And so I actually took a trip up here before I applied and started like talking to people in the business community, meeting with some, different heads of maybe different clubs and service organizations to just figure out what it really was making this town tick. And so when I applied, like I was super ready and I really wanted it. And I'm glad that I did because it exceeded expectations.
Outstanding.
So how long ago was that?
And so I moved here in the fall of 2016.
Okay.
Right as the Main Avenue project was kind of kicking off, the city had gone through kind of a study of what they wanted the Main to look like. For a lot of years, it had been just sort of that, old highway look that you'd seen in the 70s.
Yes.
And we redesigned it, and so that was like my first project we got going on.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
a good one to start with.
I think me and the family moved here just a couple months before you did. If you got here in the fall, and we saw the downtown before and now, and like I said, it's I love it.
360.
Yeah, it's great. It looks great. And one thing I did learn, if you're going to a new town and you want to know anything or start learning about it, just ask a waitress or a waiter who's lived there, and they're full of information. Pick a small time restaurant and ask a waitress or a waiter about the place, and they'll tell you straight up.
Or a bartender.
A bartender. Yeah, there you go. Anybody that's willing to talk to you, be your personal therapist.
So
and you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've learned that companies do that as well. So
Really?
if I'm looking to cite a business somewhere, apparently like, Cliff Bar, when they came to town, they just started riding their bikes around, biking on trails, and they'd stop and ask people like, hey, what do you think about this city? And I'm telling you, like, if people would have said, yeah, I hate it here, I can't wait to get out, they wouldn't have put their business here.
Truth.
Right.
Yeah. And everybody we've met, even though we're from the West Coast, and the joke is, don't tell them you're from California, this, that. Never had an issue with it. Never had an issue with it.
Yeah.
And so we loved it.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people from here, from California.
Oh, there's tons. Yeah. Tons. I've found out so many people that are like, I moved here 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And, but no, it's been great. And
so we want to get into, we don't want to do it too much because everybody knows what's going on right now. We got the coronavirus pandemic, and
there probably isn't much of anybody who's not in lockdown of some sort.
Right. Just yesterday, the governor announced that there's a stay-at-home order, saying that only essential businesses are allowed open, and so on and so forth. So how is the city of Twin Falls dealing with this?
So we're trying to lead by example. We have sent a lot of our, even though we're classified as an essential service, we've sent a lot of non-essential work home to work from home or reassign them. So people that used to be maybe front facing at the counter, accepting bill pay, that sort of thing, they're still there, but they're just working differently. We started preparing for this literally 3 weeks ago. We had a meeting with our city staff that just said, all right, what does it look like if we have to do like a soft closure and then a hard closure?
Yep.
And we put in place some of those things. So we were already kind of ready for when the governor announced. And within like, a couple hours, we were all set up to, people need to work from home or working from home. Yeah. But the nature of my work now is more public facing with those businesses that are wondering, what kind of work can I do? Can I stay open? So I've just been on the phone probably all day for the last 2 days, just sort of answering those types of questions.
And so the essential businesses are I've heard it's the grocery stores and banks and things like that, but they're some of them have limits that they've imposed themselves for how many people could be in there at a time. So it sounds like, you guys were forward thinking. And then
so even though you'll have, banks can stay open, they're not accepting walk-in traffic. Same with restaurants, same with grocery stores, you do limited hours. And some of these, construction services too are like, they're doing their jobs, but they're just not necessarily interacting in the same way. And it's all just so everybody can do their part to, limit those interactions that could cause the spread of the virus.
Absolutely. And like I said, we noticed a thing yesterday when we were fishing out at Niagara Springs and, drove down there. Love that area. It's Kyle hasn't seen water that clear in a long time.
and he was just amazed by it. And it's a beautiful area, and we were the only ones out there with the boys fishing, and the only other people we saw were literally across the river. Getting their lures stuck up in the tree there. So there's so many great outdoor ways to still continue staying healthy. And I think one thing is being cooped up, we can't really forget the outdoor life. I mean, this is a place for that. And so yeah, it's going to affect everybody. But like I said, City of Twin Falls, forward thinking, prepared. And now we just got to wait and, like I said, keep doing the smart things. Wash hands, right? Yeah, wash your hands.
Wash your hands. So, how has this pandemic affected your job specifically? Have you had to take on a different role? Have you had to basically do anything extra or go, different from what you're normally doing?
Yeah, so I am one of about 8 people in City Hall right now, just part of kind of that maybe central team that's just been trying to be responsive. I've used this time to really just sort of revamp some of our marketing messages and to take a little more active role in some of those things that I've maybe pushed down to other people to act on or to do for us. I'm just trying to be helpful to the business community, let them know we're here. We just, maybe for your listeners, I don't know when this is going to launch, but it's, we did a business boost bingo. So we have a bingo card out there. We're trying to get people to, do a curbside pickup from a local business, help your neighbor in this regard. And
how do we get one of those?
Well,
yeah,
I've gone to bingo halls. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I've been going out and eating and stuff. So
it's out there on our Facebook page, which is Grow with Twin Falls.
I'll see it.
And you can download it. You fill out the card, you send it to us, and you'll be entered into drawings for some prizes.
Nice. Okay.
Good. That's a good way to at least keep people occupied, because I know people go stir crazy and they need something to do.
Well,
so
business
that's a good way
for
that's
a fear. It's a legitimate fear of what's going on, and
people to come together rather than just being completely isolated.
Yeah, and I get you out of the house once in a while, and if it's for food at least.
So as far as short-term and long-term finances towards the city goes, the way pandemic has been affecting everything, how do you see that playing out?
So we're still seeing a lot of growth in our construction trade, residential building, even some of the projects that have been announced are still going forward. I think they're seeing this as a time to maybe have a little access to some labor they didn't before.
Yes.
So they're still building. And I think we're pretty queued up for the next 3 or 4 months to still grow. But after that, we're going to see some of the effects of this as people are maybe holding off to ink that deal or do some of those things.
Right.
So I think short term we're good, medium maybe struggle a little bit, and then long term I think we'll come out of this well, because I think I mentioned this last time we spoke. Food processing is still growing, which we have in spades here in this area.
Yes.
Some of those delivery and warehousing services like cold storage, last mile deliveries are still impactful, and it seems like businesses are making decisions not so much on cost but in guaranteeing delivery of product, because they recognize that that's what is a value in and of itself, and that's where we position ourselves as a community. And that's one of my pitches to some of these businesses, right? We're like, hey, you should be in Twin Falls. Well, why? Well, we offer this strategic advantage because we're cheaper than Washington, Oregon, and California, that you can get to all those markets within a day.
So with that, when are we going to get an In-N-Out? I forgot to ask this last time. And I know you have to be within a certain distance. So we need an In-N-Out hub of some sort close by. So I need my burgers. Okay. You're the man to ask.
I do want to kind of.
Well, let me answer. I want to find out if we're going to get an In-N-Out.
You're serious about that question, huh? What's your In-N-Out?
I think it's all matter of supply chain. And so you look and they're coming up I-15, right? And they're in, I think they go as far north right now as like Ogden or something.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe they swing this way, and we get, if you see it, it's probably going to be out there on the interchange with Jerome or something. But I don't know.
That's okay. Because when we first moved here, we drove 4 hours into Salt Lake to go to In-N-Out one time. I went to the museum or something that day, but I mean, we literally drove 4 hours. I don't mind going to up to by Jerome if I had to. So just
if there's any In-N-Out CEOs listening to this, Well, just throwing that idea.
Just throwing that idea. Twin Falls. I know. It needs to knit it out. Okay.
But I did want to touch on a quick subject here. So with the stimulus bill that just passed, the $2 trillion stimulus bill for the economy, one of the things that kind of confused me was that the small business loans and the banks giving basically -% interest rate.
And a $350 billion package for small businesses.
They want banks to loan out for small businesses. That doesn't really make sense to me, because who's going to go out and take a business loan right now in this kind of climate, especially when it's going to take some time for the economy to climb back?
Is that the aim? Well, is what we're wondering.
Yeah, that's why they're trying to make it penalize you for holding on to the money, right? So they're trying to get those businesses that maybe had a product they were about to launch, or maybe they needed some additional construction to expand their footprint or hire somebody.
Okay.
They're trying to make it more difficult for people to hoard cash. Like we saw a lot of that in 2008 when they offered those incentives.
Yes.
Incentives.
Incentives.
Sorry.
Incentives. Long day. Trust me, I know.
People were kind of hoarding cash a little bit, and I think they're trying to not have people do that this time.
Okay.
And so they're doing things like, here, take this loan, and oh, by the way, if it's used for things like payments towards rents or maintaining employees for a certain amount of time, we'll forgive that, just to kind of make sure things are
that makes a little more sense.
It does. See, remember, should have done the economics in school.
Yeah.
College graduates didn't take economics. I don't know if I did or not. All right. I appreciate that. That's a breakdown I don't think I even understood, because when they break down that kind of amount of money, I was thinking, are they just hand it out and then, because we know not every business is going to survive. But like you said, it's about momentum and it's swing. And if you were ready to launch a product, or you had a product already out there that's wanted, and it's a huge setback. But, it sounds like hopefully we don't lose a lot of businesses. This city has been known for having a very low unemployment rate and always an abundance of jobs. When I used to work in case management, never had an issue with finding people jobs. That's one thing this place has. And that was what we touched on earlier, was what they called the Chobani effect, right? Having a large production move in, Chobani yogurt, which is great. They did lots for the community, and then Cliff Bar following. And I heard a rumor, I forgot to mention this, I heard a rumor last year, something about Hershey was considering.
I've been in that since I moved here.
Okay. Because I was like, outside of Pennsylvania, I was like, that would be huge.
They're in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I don't know if they named their own city.
So that's a rumor. Let's do
kind of on that same subject, because so we are seeing an expansion, a growth, pretty much everywhere in Idaho, of people coming in from different states, different counties. I mean, even moving from the bigger city over into the smaller city, making that all grow. So how's the city of Twin Falls going about handling that and dealing with it?
Mm-hmm. So we're seeing pretty sustainable levels for us of 2 to 3%, and it has been that past decade and a half. I think every year since 2000 we've grown around 2%.
Okay.
Now, where it's impacting us most is our daytime population is a lot higher than our full-time population. So we're 50,000 people, heads in beds, as they say, but at the daytime to come work and so forth, it's 85,000, and so that impacts.
So you have 35,000 people just commuting here for work every day.
Mm-hmm.
Or shopping.
Whatever.
And we realized that when we first visited here, we saw all the large stores, the super Walmarts, the Targets, all that. We were wondering how a city would sustain those kind of that size business with a population of 50,000 or less. People explained to us, well, folks from hours out come here every day to shop and do business here, from Sun Valley all the way to Elko and Nevada, places like that. So that explained a lot, because we would see that. We're like, where are these folks coming from? And how do you sustain?
Like I said earlier, watch the license plates.
Yes.
In Costco, you see a lot of 5B or 2J type stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah, not a lot of 2T.
You'll see the 2Ts earlier in the day that I go shopping.
They know when to get away. So how is the city dealing with, even though you're saying 55,000 or what it was, or 50? So how are you dealing, because that number is still expanding itself, the heads and beds number, and that's expanding.
And that's where the federal mandates come in, right? We were talking about that earlier. Transit.
Yeah, so I think I'll tell you this. This is an interesting fact. So we actually use less water, or our citizenry consumes and uses less water now than we did 10 years ago. And that's just through our adoption of different technologies, the way we do pressurized irrigation and manage flow. And you can get really geeky into a science here, but like, I think as we've adapted as a city and grown, we've done better things with our mapping and our use of technology to really kind of stay up to date and be sort of a higher level of city than we were even 10 years ago.
Okay.
I know that really seems hard because we've been growing, but at the same time we're consuming less just as we've educated people and we've learned to manage it better and be more efficient.
Yeah, and that's something
so I
that
hope that continues in the future.
Yeah, and I actually so now the Snake River with the Shoshone Falls, that's one way, that's hydroelectric or whatever for the city of Twin Falls, right, or the county. Is that the way I understood it? Okay. And that's why our utilities, Kyle, here are so much less than when we
Thanks,
were.
Dad, for explaining that to me.
Just so you know, that's economics. We pay less here.
So Nate, what are some of the projects that you're working on right now with the city?
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of multifamily interest in our downtown. We're really undersupplied on housing still. So we have the 160 Main project, which is on the corner of Hanson and Main. Is going to be a new 6-story mixed-use residential and office project. And then on South Washington area near Glanbia, there's another milk processing plant called Gem State Dairy.
Yes.
And they make product they'll ship largely to a lot of the Asian markets and the Pacific Rim customers.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people here buy boxed milk.
It was a powder, right?
MRE powder.
That's why they give it a flavor.
Yeah, it's not as dry when it tastes like vanilla banana. No, we gotta go. It's probably a great product. I'd love to try that one out.
Yeah. I'll just let you do it, and you can tell me about it.
I'll tell you all about it. If you need an MRE, you're good. You can eat anything. And there was another one that you mentioned earlier. So you got the like it was the clinical building being switched to a charter school with some residential, and then on the outskirts. So on the outskirts, also with included that, you're starting to see more chunks of land being split for multiple resident houses, or like you said, like a 4-member family house, and staying in the affordable range, because it seems like it has.
Yeah. So I think the economics in the market is right for Twin Falls right now to experience some of that growth in housing. We're still where we'd previously been constrained by our labor, only so many drywallers, so many painters to do those kinds of things. I think they're going to get, like I said earlier, access to that.
Nice.
And start growing for a little bit. And our permits for, fourplexes and townhomes are up. I think we're about a month ahead of where we were last year at this time in terms of total permits. We're probably at I think we're close to 1,200 right now, and we didn't hit that number until probably mid-April last time.
1,200 that are waiting in the queue to start the projects.
Yeah, so we've issued about 1,200 permits so far since January, right?
Oh, wow, okay.
And that's, again, like I said, we probably weren't there last year to end of April.
Okay, so at least there was a head start before this pandemic, right? And it continued through it.
True. So we're up a little bit.
All right. Well, we were to ask earlier, what are some of your favorite projects that you've worked on since you joined City of Twin Falls that gives you a little sense of pride and that smile when you're driving around?
Sure. I always use this example, like when, let's say, we were to win the World Series or something, right? Twin Falls now is a baseball team.
Yeah.
And you all want to go outside after they win and celebrate. Where are you going?
Okay.
I think about that place mentally, and that's like your city's identity at the core. And so I think of two things when I think of that. People are probably going to go to the bridge, or they're going to come downtown.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so 3 years ago, when we did this commons across from City Hall that has the splash pad and the stage area that's now kind of become home for a lot of our events. I get really excited when I go out there in the summer and I just see kids in there playing around, and it's a lot of fun, and it's really accessible to everyone. You'll see, dads pushing their kids in wheelchairs and, pets running through there and that sort of thing. And it's just a really good place for people to gather that I think is gives our sense of place and community.
I agree. And like I said, once I saw that finished project, I love the downtown, and it's safe. It is safe for people to take their families down there. Where we come from, it's a lot different, but being here, it's great to walk at night with the businesses that are open later, just not on Sundays. It seems like everybody closes early on Sundays. And but no, it's a fun part of downtown right there. And I think it's awesome what you guys have done.
Observing football Sunday. I mean, that's all it is.
Well, football Sunday, yeah. Everybody should have football.
You go to a Dunkin' still, right?
What's that?
A Dunkin' seems like it's always open.
Oh yeah. That's
America runs on it. So.
No, Dunkin's. It's a bar downtown. It's.
I know you're talking Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, who doesn't love Dunkin' Donuts?
No. Different place. But
just shut up.
Dunkin's, which is
Dunkin's,
Irish bar that sells pizza, which is funny to me.
We've been there before.
Potato pizza.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, there's an Idaho Gertie's Pizza. They do an Idaho. It's a hash brown topping on pizza. So there's nothing you can't get away from potatoes here, but that's all right. Be proud of it.
So, what other kind of things do you do like on your spare time? I know because the world is on lockdown right now, so a lot more people have free time. Like me, I got 24 hours a day of free time, which is a little more than I want. But but as for you, like, what do you do in your free time with your family? Where do you go? What does the city have to offer for you, or just the surrounding area?
So we eat out a lot. Like it's really close proximity to so many amazing things like South Hills, or like on Sunday we went over to Balanced Rock. I don't know if you guys have been there.
Mm-hmm.
Been that way. I love that.
Yeah, it's like we just went hiking up, and all of a sudden my kids just see there's lizards on these rocks, and we spent the next 2 hours just catching lizards.
Nice.
There you go.
I've got lizards since I was a kid. Get a blade of grass, make a little hoop.
Yeah.
You put it in front of it, and they run into it. Yeah.
So like, I don't know, like I think a lot of it's about the discovery of those places where you're on the way to something, right? So we've tried to go up to maybe, not now, I wouldn't go up to Sun Valley, but in those times, like I think the first time we tried to go to Sun Valley, we only ended up stopping at Shoshone just because there was a lot of things to see, right?
Yes.
Or you take a left and go to the ice caves, and you go out to Gooding to look at the camas lilies, and you end up seeing little city rocks.
Yeah,
that
shiny objects kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this falls under your jurisdiction, but Box Canyon.
No.
Okay, but I'll just put this out there. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, but the only deterrent is a big, out of shape older guy like me. That's like a 7-mile hike. Okay, I need an old guy.
Gravity is not your friend.
And I need an old guy path. Okay, just specifically for guys like me. Shortcut. It's one of those beautiful places you see, but. Yeah, it's killer. I'm sorry.
I thought about like, could you do like a zip line from the top?
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Because it cuts the travel in half. The walk up is still the worst, but maybe they get a motorized, like a ski lift. Go down a zip line, ski lift up out of there. Just anybody hear that? That's a suggestion. Get an engineer on that.
Yeah.
All right, Nate,
but no, this area offers. If you are an outdoors person in any way, this place kills it all that. And if you are not, and it is highly recommended to go out and just Google map things. We've seen the ice caves, the mammoth caves. I was telling you about Craters of the Moon.
Happy with us on the last one.
What's that?
The tour guide wasn't too happy with us on the last one.
That Camp Joker and the ice caves tour, I guess. And, but we've since we've been here, we've tried to see as much as we can of it, and it offers just it's beautiful. Like I said, we're from the beach area. You live by the beach, you don't go to the beach.
That's just a fact.
It's facts right there, because everybody else comes in from Bakersfield.
But Nate, we wanted to thank you again for. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I think that's what's different about Idaho, though. Like, I live by the river, and I go to the river all the time.
Yes. Yeah, you do. As soon as the weather is nice enough, and it's been break. We had a mild winter this year. We tried to do the Canyon Rim Trail, which you guys are connecting at. It's a beautiful walk. And the pictures I send out, people are always jealous. I'm like, this is right by the house. And I'm like, but don't come out here.
just look at the things Ken hates. but not
tourists?
you.
No, I don't buy tourists.
But thank you, Nate, so much again for coming on. We
Yes, thank you,
appreciate
sir.
it, especially after that big foul up. But
The point the finger.
again, so where can people find you, Nate, if they want to get a hold of you?
Yeah, sure. So I'm probably most active on Twitter at the local Nate, and then our just Twin Falls Economic Development page on Facebook is Grow with Twin Falls. Go on there, check out the business bingo thing we have going, and try and win some prizes.
I'm gonna try. I mean, it gives me an
Okay.
excuse to get out and go eat.
Yeah,
So
why not?
I'm gonna give it a
Bingo,
shot.
why not?
I can't turn down eating and then getting a prize for it. I mean,
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we got some more good segments coming on for you. All right, be right back.
All right, thank you.
Hey guys, we just want to thank each and every one of you, every one of our listeners, for tuning in and helping us get to where we are. We couldn't have done it without you. And a special thanks to Nate Murray, the Twin Falls Economic Development Director, for who we just did that interview with, for affording us his time and answering some of the questions about the response of the city to the coronavirus pandemic, as well as giving us some valuable insight into how the city functions from a financial perspective. Be sure to follow him on Twitter at The Local Nate and over on Facebook at Grow with Twin Falls. We will also provide links to his pages in the info of the podcast channel. We have a lot of good stuff still to come, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Unless you're driving, in which case, stay focused on the road. We'll take care of the rest.
I don't trust anything on the internet.
No,
I don't even know why
I'm
people
skeptical
trust us.
with that.
It looks
It looks real.
It looks real. The kid reacts. The kid, the crib reacts to this.
Yeah.
thing.
Well, anyway, guys, welcome back. We're just
Welcome
discussing.
back.
We just watched our. We just watched this video. We were on break about this ghost that was caught on a nanny cam. It's kind of going around the internet right now. Of this nanny cam that was placed in an infant's room, and it looks like a person walking right by it, and it seems like the baby reacts to it.
Right, and that's
But,
why I'm like, I just don't like. It could be legit, or it could be just they went back and looked at footage, and because it's a dark room and it's got shit infrared on it or something.
Yeah.
And pick them up, go by in a shadow.
It's strange. I will say I'm a skeptic,
I am.
heavy skeptic when it comes to, paranormal and ghosts and stuff like that. But this one, it's got some convincing. I don't know if it's been tampered with the video, if it's raw footage or what. So that's
If I don't
always been
see
my
it for
thing,
the
is
first
I don't
time when
know.
it actually happens, I assume it's been tampered with.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just
somebody
how- that's
got a
how I
hold of
look
it,
at
messed
things
with
now.
it. But
Or maybe they didn't. Maybe that's just the way the
could
thing
be.
recorded.
I always think I need a separate explanation
you go.
besides before paranormal. That should be the last explanation for anything.
To
Should
go
be
right
paranormal should be a ghost.
Yeah.
There's always an explanation for everything.
All right.
With,
So
aliens
anybody's
and-
listening to this, you're an expert on either side of it, the skeptic side or the paranormal side, reach out.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
You can send us an email at podcast.adultingishard@gmail.com, or you can contact us through our Facebook or Twitter, which our handle is @isadulting. Let us know what you think. And we can even post this. We'll post the link to this video so you guys can take a look at it and see what you.
And they don't come off as the couple that caught it or whatever. They don't come off as like Florida man or anything.
Yeah. But my other thing is that when we talk about this, what gets me all skeptical is, are they living in a new house? Are they living in a modern house that was built, a few years ago? How many residents did it have? Did somebody die at that house?
If you tell me it's a house from 4 years ago, and you've had it since it was built, doesn't the paranormal something attached to it? I mean, did the guy die doing construction?
Exactly. Are you playing with the fucking Ouija board in the basement or something? Like,
what movie did I see recently with that?
the Ouija board in the basement?
Yeah.
Was it the movie Ouija?
No, it was something else. Oh, it was the show I was watching on Fox, The Exorcist. The first season was really good, and it connects back to the original movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they tied it all in. I forgot about that. It was really good. And then the second season, I haven't really started it. I had the attention span of a whatever.
A little gnat.
It was a great show.
Goldfish.
Goldfish. Shiny.
But, yeah, so, I mean, as most of you guys probably already know, we like talking about this stuff. We like talking about the paranormal and what could be and aliens and, you know, all this. Or, you know, like the Tiger King guy who's got a master in mystic science. I would love to interview that guy.
One of those is an alien. One of those three people that shows a fucking alien.
Wow.
And I'm sorry. And right now, this would be a terrible time to be visited by aliens.
Oh, they would hate us.
Because,
well, first of all, they would take the coronavirus back to their...
That's what I'm saying. They land, they're like, hey, how's it going? Everyone's coughing and evidently has dysentery because everyone's stealing all the toilet paper. Shit myself.
Yeah.
And then they take it back and then we spread this across the universe. Way to go. Mankind, way to go.
Yeah, way to go.
Way to go. Way to ruin it for everybody.
But our actually, no, this is perfect because in our second interview that we did with
the local legend, Dr. Nick Redbone.
Big celebrity.
103.1 The Edge, actually.
Yes.
And again, it's not maybe not with the city we're in, Twin Falls, Idaho.
We will never say.
No, I'm not going to say
We'll
it.
never confirm.
But this man is well, he does this shit for a living. I mean, he's got 3 shows a day. Yeah, 6 in the morning, and then he does a coffee, live Facebook deal.
He's just an awesome dude.
He's a good guy.
He's a really good dude. Dr. Nick Redbone. You can find him on Facebook. I haven't found him on Twitter.
I don't think he's on the Twitch yet.
We'll he's not on the Twitch.
Why he's not on the
Twitch. But
do the coops.
The interview was awesome, and we got that just for you guys. As we said, we're going to be trying to bring you at least 2 interviews per podcast. We're going to be rolling those out because we love you guys, and we want to bring you some good shit, and you know cover a ton of topics. And this interview we did, it's very funny, and we covered a lot of really strange questions with them. But one of the things we talked about was ghosts and aliens.
Yeah.
So without further ado, here's the interview that we had with Dr. Nick Redbone. So, folks, we are super excited to bring you our next interview here.
Local legend.
A local legend. He's a celebrity. He's a musician. He's a radio DJ.
Chef. I'm thinking makes a tofu rice. I understand.
Well, yeah, or some great crock pot recipes. I don't know, get on Instagram and do the Instapot kind of thing.
Well, is he on Instagram? I don't know. He's not even on Twitter.
I am on Instagram.
Oh, wow. Not on the Twitch, but on the IG.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Figure that out.
All right.
But anyway, we have Dr. Nick Redbone on the line. Dr. Nick, take it away. Who can you, just for our listeners, give us a kind of an introduction of yourself, what you do, and really how you got into it?
Yeah. I'm a radio DJ, currently at 103.1 The Edge, which is KEDJ FM in Southern Idaho. But I've been a radio guy for 20 years. It'll be 21 in August, as a matter of fact. But I'm also a musician, and I'm a stand-up comedian, and, you know, I've managed to pretty much avoid, like, actual work and responsibility now for my entire adult life.
Childhood dream, right?
I'm talking about it. That's what we're trying to do right now.
Right.
A little late in the game, but we're trying.
There's plenty of time right now, right?
Yeah, and you do 3 shows a day, correct?
I do my morning show. I do a noon show, and then until recently, I was doing a Facebook Live thing too. But it kind of bottomed out just as far as the format kind of went as far as it could go. So I've kind of decided to maybe put it on the shelf, and then I'll come up with something different to do. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, I heard the Facebook show. It got to the point. I'm just gonna say there's a bunch of thirsty girls in there. Yeah, after a while, yeah, because Shayla was watching it, she's just like, cringe, dude. Just let the man be.
And once I got a girlfriend, that was when, like, I watched the numbers drop, and I was like, oh, I get it.
Oh yeah, that's why. Ladies, I'm married. It's just done. Yeah, so don't even try. Don't even try.
I'm way off the market. So we need a litty audience based on that.
There you go. Absolutely. All right.
Well, as every single person out there is aware, most people are on a lockdown. The state of Idaho just recently put us in a stay-at-home order. So we know that you have been working from home doing your radio shows and whatnot, and your cooking. So how has that been for you, working from home and not leaving?
You know, I used to think that was like the dream. like, I could get up in the morning and then just walk into my studio or wherever. And I set up a real quick studio in the kitchen to do it. Monday, I was at the office. I did my morning show. Then we had a meeting, and we all kind of knew that we were going to make the decision then to go home. So I did. So I did 4.5 days of radio from where I'm sitting right now, and I'm losing my goddamn mind.
We only did one full day of it yesterday, and we were so wiped at the end of the night.
And we got lost on what day of the week.
Yeah, we were arguing about how long this quarantine's been effective. Said yesterday, Friday. And it's like, no. I'm like, oh man. But are you still doing? You're just doing the 2 shows in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I sit in my studio pretty much isolated anyway at the station. And so I thought, well, how much different can it be? It is so different. The one thing I'll say, though, is I get to drink my coffee all day.
There you go.
It's not the Folgers or
like going to a meeting. Like I'm just gonna talk shit about their coffee right now. That's why I go back.
It's not the station coffee. It's my fresh ground, mixture of 2
right.
green.
Not Kirkland brand. Sorry, Kirkland from Costco, but I'm just gonna say it.
No offense.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to advertise anyways. So one of the local.
In case they were, no longer.
Yeah. And the only other thing I won't do is reality TV, but we'll have that discussion another time. I'm just going to say it, unless the money's big enough. But so another thing that, and Kyle's new to Idaho. I've been here about 4 years. We got here in like 2016, giant snowstorm. That's why we have another 2-year-old. And yeah, so and as you know, my kids are named after, you met him actually, Bane and Logan, you met those 2 boys.
Yes, absolutely.
And so that snowstorm was brutal, but Edge Fest.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a big thing around here. This is one of the main things that I love about Twin Falls is that locally, even now down to Jackpot, they've always had a great metal scene or a rock scene that comes through here. Mm-hmm. And so with Edge Fest and this going on, I'm assuming is it just up in the air? It's still
No, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's August 1st, and this is the biggest lineup we've ever had.
Hit them with the lineup.
Well, now you're going to ask me, and I've got.
Yep, I got it.
Put me on the spot. I can tell you that All That Remains.
I was going to say the first one's All That Remains.
Yep, All That Remains. 10 years, and then Crowbot.
I'm excited for that.
And Messer, and A Killer's Confession, and Artificial Aliens, and I know I'm forgetting one. I'm probably forgetting 2.
It's okay.
But I mean, considering the number of bands, where it's going to be, and the ticket price. I mean, and I've said this on the air, and I believe it. It is the best entertainment value, dollar for dollar, anywhere in the Northwest.
I'll agree with you.
It's not even close.
Yeah,
it's not
we've been to so many concerts and spent so much. I mean, I've been going to concerts since the mid '80s, and when bands start talking about money, I'm like, I bought your album on tape, vinyl tape, CD, digital, bought T-shirts, all that, and you're upset because I don't want to pay the Ticketmaster fee or whatever, or I might download a song of yours. I'm just going to say it. Yep. Sorry, but you've gotten much money out of me and blood and sweat.
So people who are interested in going to Edge Fest, learning about what it is and where it is and getting the lineup, where can they go?
Come make it a huge show.
They should go to 1031theedge.com, and that'll be like the top banner. I think there's probably some coronavirus stuff up too, but it's really highlighted on the page. You click on that, and not only can you see the lineup and everything, but you can buy tickets right there. And like I said, I mean, the show is August 1st. We're still pretty confident. Everybody involved is still pretty confident that that's when the show is going to happen. I'm even seeing some of the other bigger bands, not on Edge Fest, but just in general, they're starting to announce summer tour dates. Yeah. So, look, I don't want to jinx it, but I want to be, hopeful that things are moving and that we're on the downward side of the big slope by that.
That'd be great. And a way to bring it back as a concert.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it'd be great because this is literally like 45 minutes from us, but we're not literally in that area in Twin Falls. I know.
No, I don't. No. When I got the invitation to join the conference call so we could record this, it actually said that you guys were on the moon.
Oh, well, there we go. So off planet or something.
Oh, yeah, we ping our location from everywhere.
VPN. That's nerd stuff. We did the VPN.
One of our locations is Mars, too.
It's possible.
That kind of freaks out everybody except for Tesla and Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He knows all about it. He's good with it.
Parking lots of liquor stores.
Once upon a time, I did the math. If I've been on the radio for 20 years, now radio signals move at the speed of light. Radio signals not only go, like broadcast signals, not only go across the surface of the earth, but they go into space. So I did the math once to figure out how far my first broadcasts have gone.
Nice.
And it's like a trillion miles. Think about it. Intelligent life could intercept my voice and go, what an asshole.
Or that's the man we should speak to. And then still, we're all sideways, right?
So then think about that. Think about what our first contact might be when, one of our big radio telescopes in Puerto Rico or on top of a mountain or wherever the fuck ever we're doing it from. We get, we're not going to get somebody going, we come in peace. We're going to get the voice of some shock jock from 20 light years
Plain
away.
Kansas, carry on.
Lesbian dilate.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be great. Yeah, go ahead.
So the idea of our podcast it was born from
A big ball of booze. I was
and then
drunk.
one of us may or may not have been having a midlife crisis.
I've been at one for 20 years.
So since you've had all this time to yourself and at home, have you come up with any new projects or any new ideas spawning, or kind of how you live the dream?
I'm really, really ADD. I think that's why I have so many different irons in the fire. Once again, like I'm a musician and I'm a comedian and I'm a gamer and I goof off a little bit on YouTube and because I can't focus long enough to get anything big done. I've got lyrics written for an album and I have the ideas for the music pretty much solidified. I mean, if I was to just sit down and focus, I could finish writing an album and then start recording it. But will I? The answer is no.
That's like, this guy's like, this is my brother right here. I'm thinking, I've got the direction, I've got the idea, but
yeah,
I don't want to do it.
yeah, that's why I got an audio engineer guy.
Guys. Like I need to have a coach that just says no. You know what I mean? Like teaching a puppy. No.
Yes. It kind of smacks your hand and says, "Go back to what you were doing."
Exactly.
Right. Like 4-H, they had those leader sticks.
Yeah.
Whack the pig if
Yes,
it's going in the wrong direction.
right in the back of the ass, right there.
So, actually, on our podcast, we cover a lot of different topics, different subjects. We kind of just like a real blanket. We'll talk about anything really, except for political matters. We don't get into that.
Sure.
We're staying away from it. So one of the things we had talked about
That's
on
just
our
a hot
podcast
shit.
was about aliens and extraterrestrials and all that and the existence of life beyond our own. And I know you had just touched on it, even a joking matter, but what is your concept of aliens? Do you believe they exist? Do you believe there's extraterrestrial life? And to follow up on that, have they been to Earth?
Here's the thing. For me, it all comes down to the math. The universe is, for all intents and purposes, infinite. It's so big, our little hamster brains can't even conceive of anything that big. So let's call it infinite for all intents and purposes. So in an infinite universe, you will have an infinite number of galaxies, and in that infinite number of galaxies, an infinite number of stars just like ours. And in those infinite systems, you'll have an infinite number of Goldilocks planets just like ours, where carbon-based, organic, water-necessary life spring up.
Yeah.
So there's no way we're alone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's ego when people are like, we're it. I'm like,
I don't think there's anybody out there who actually believes there isn't.
Well, and then like you said, the math-wise, if you do the math, the Milky Way is 100,000 light years across, point at B, and we're on the outside fringe of it. So what are the odds that something comes across our neck of the woods, anyways?
Exactly.
When we spend how much time just scanning the skies and looking for the most random things we can find, odds are, I don't know if we've been visited. I'm just going to say that more likely probably pass on accident. Like you don't see the interstate, like turn off, you just keep going.
Right.
And you come into you find another new town.
Yeah, we're that gas station that looks like it's closed. You know what I mean?
It looks like you get Hep C from going in it.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say it. Maybe a serial killer. There's dolls hanging from the tree.
Why would you stop at hours within another 10 miles there's a Flying J with a Taco Bell? You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Here's another life hack. Never use a bathroom in a gas station that doesn't have a mirror.
Absolutely.
That is chunky central right there.
Here's the thing. Do I think we've been visited? Look, for somebody to get to us, the amount of energy that they would have to expend to cover those distances, we don't understand the science that can make that happen. But is that to say that it doesn't exist? Absolutely not. I think it's kind of a shot in the dark to think that we have, but at the same time, there's a lot of weird video and a lot of weird, there's
the Department of Defense just admitted they've called a few of them from the last few years, UFOs. Yeah. I mean, trained we've seen Air Force pilots.
The naval, when the Navy puts out stuff and goes, we don't know what this shit is.
Yeah, and they're calling it out on mic. We're saying, you see this thing? You see it boogieing? Yep. And if Maverick, Top Gun, right, he gets scared, then we know. Okay.
That's it. But here's the thing: if we have been visited, I guess I'm somewhat hopeful because if they visited us and they haven't just eradicated us, which they could with their technological level, I think it would be pretty fundamental to wipe the bugs off the golf ball. But they haven't. Yeah. So if they are here, what's next?
Maybe they're chill. Maybe they're chill. Yeah, I like to think of it that way.
I don't think they want to be here right now.
No, I can just see us ruining this side of the universe.
Back to their home planet. And,
yeah, we never heard of the coronavirus. We didn't either until February.
First contact kills our entire species. So
yep.
You're not going to believe this shithole we just went to.
Yeah,
bought all the toilet paper.
Not food, not bleach. Toilet paper, because it's a respiratory illness, right? Not a dysentery. This isn't Oregon Trail. You died of dysentery. Okay, that's why. I mean, I've had worse bouts with talking about tequila. Like I said, I'm not scared of that. It's not about was it intestinal disorder or discomfort? I ain't scared.
I always liked intestinal distress.
Yeah, it's distress. You mean you shit yourself.
Intestinal distress. My intestines are so distressed. They're so upset.
Yeah, peeing up my ass is what you have. I don't know if that's a clinical term, but so
kind of on the same note as aliens. We talk about this a lot in the validity of ghosts and paranormal activity. What is your take on ghosts? Do ghosts exist? Is paranormal activity a real thing?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes and yes. I only tell you that because I can't convince anybody of anything. But what I can do is tell you experiences that I've had that I cannot explain any other way. And I have two of them in particular that 100% happened to me. I was stone cold sober when they happened. And to this day, I will swear by it, that what happened. One, I was with my ex-wife. We were newly married at the time, and we had moved to a little town called Winfield, Louisiana, which is where she was from. And we were staying in her parents' house the first night we got there. We were going to be in their house for a couple of days while we were getting the place we were moving into ready. And she had told me that the house she grew up in, which is where we were, was haunted. And it's one thing to hear it. People will tell me ghost stories all day, but until I experience it, I'm always a skeptic. I'm a born skeptic.
Yeah.
But okay, so the first night we were there, and I think I was sending an email to my dad or playing a game or something, but I was at their computer directly and we were in my ex's room as a kid. So behind me, she's on the bed, and she's on the opposite side of the bed, and she is out because we'd driven a big day. My acoustic guitar is right behind me, leaning up against the bed. I'm on the computer, and I hear like somebody ran their fingers across the strings, just open, ring. And I stiffened up, and I got goosebumps, and I thought, okay, am I just tired? Am I tripping? Am I imagining things? So I reached back and put my hand on the body of the guitar, and I could still feel it vibrate. It happened.
Okay.
Now, in the same state, I was working at a place called, and it ended up on Ghost Hunters. The place was on Ghost Hunters. It was the Hotel Bentley. Look this up. It's the Hotel Bentley in Alexandria, Louisiana. Okay. Old hotel built, I think, by the guy was like a forester, or he'd made money on the Mississippi with barges, whatever. Big money, and it's a big, beautiful building, marble out front, and painted fresco ceilings, and I mean this glorious old miss of the South. And I was a bartender there in a bar downstairs called the Mirror Room. Look this all up. It still exists.
Carl.
This historic old bar that they said the generals in World War II used to go and drink at and make plans for World War II. Because Fort Polk is just outside of Alexandria. Once again, you can look all this shit up. So
we will.
So I'm tending bar here, and I made it to the top of their bar fairly quick. So I was the head bartender I was 21 years old. Gave me a lot of responsibility. One of the responsibilities was close the bar. You were the last guy there. Close out the bags. Take the deposit upstairs. Turn it into the safe, and then you can go home. So I turn off. I remember I had the deposit bag under my arm. I take the remote control. I turn off the TV. I put the remote control down. I turn around to walk out, and I feel a tap on my shoulder. 3 taps. Tap, tap, tap on my right shoulder. I freeze. I turn back around just in time to watch the TV come back on.
All right.
And I said out loud, okay, if you want to watch TV, I'll let you watch TV. I found out later they've replaced that TV. They've replaced the remote control. It always turns itself on. Security will turn it off all night long, and they hear people walking around and talking in there after it's closed.
Say if there's a hot spot, I would say New Orleans, Louisiana, that area. It's culture, everything from voodoo to over the years. I mean, it's got a history, I would say.
Louisiana's a different state. Where I was in Alexandria and Natchitoches and Winfield, that's the northern part of the state. If Louisiana is shaped kind of like, it's almost like a little southern Idaho. It's an L shape. About halfway through the state is what I call the Catholic line. It's right about St. Charles. Anywhere north of Lake Charles is Baptist country, and it's boring as shit.
Right.
It's pretty redneck.
Dry county. County.
There's redneck fun. I mean, you go hunting, and if outdoors is your thing, that's fine. But if you're looking for the party, you got to go where the Catholics are. Because remember, they can confess that shit away any day.
Everything I did last night, my bad.
Good point.
So like you go, once you get down by Lafayette, and then you got even further, you're in New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and shit, that's when it's on like Donkey Kong. And New Orleans is haunted. You can feel it in the air. You can damn near taste it.
Nice. Well, I hope that first experience, that guy wasn't firing off Wonderwall on your guitar. I'm just going to say it right now. That's what I would have been creeped out even more. I'm like, dude, this song's not even out yet. This guy's trying to come out with Wonderwall.
Natural entities trying to bone college chicks on my
hipster asshole.
So, Dr. Nick, are you a video game guy?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
What do you play? What are you playing now?
What do you play on?
Believe it or not, I have a monitor I'm looking at, and then I have a monitor to my left. On my left, I have a game of Civ 5 going right now.
Sims 5, okay. We were just talking about that. How the first Sims. Oh, Civ 5. I think it said Sims 5. So, okay. I wasn't going to judge.
I have a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One on my TV back behind me.
Nice. That's what, yeah, we're console gamers. I mean, I got gaming PC right there, but it's basically for email and streaming.
YouTube videos.
YouTube video and streaming. And
do you watch Twitch at all? Do you do any of that Twitch kind of stuff?
I haven't, but I've considered doing it. I don't do any online gaming at all, mostly because I've said this many times, the first time some 15-year-old calls me, F-bombs me, or
tells him what they did to your mom. That's my favorite from the kids.
I'm going to go to his house and I'm going to kill him on his front lawn.
But the best part about streaming, though, you don't have to play online games. You can play your RPG type games. You don't have to. So when I stream, it's a lot of times it's first person shooters, but I don't play with random people.
Yeah, that's kind of the angle I've thought about taking, like picking some of my favorite games and doing it, because I like to play some indie games that aren't on the main radar. So that'd be kind of fun. Yeah,
and I just read today the lead singer from Trivium, Matt. I can't remember his last name, but he does a Twitch channel playing guitar, doing guitar like he kind of started getting into an off season or off tour. He said that he makes more than went on tour, but but it fills that time now. Yeah. And so to see him do that in like guitar clinics or whatever and stuff like that's pretty cool. So consider it. It's fun.
I will.
Yeah, and my channel, I'm just gonna plug it. The Evil Pop-Tart Supreme Leader. Don't ask.
Nice.
Don't ask.
Evil Pop-Tarts
Supreme Leader. Twitch.tv.
Look,
I got emote stickers. I got a merchandise line. I have a chocolate starfish emote, which we know what that is. That was my way to get Twitch to give me a butthole. And I have a pickle, which is Kyle's idea. And then I have an Evil Pop-Tart.
Yeah. I'm a stoner, so I have no doubt understanding why you took the evil Pop-Tart name. I also have no problem with Pop-Tarts as a food.
Thank you.
So
Yeah. I was pretty high when I made that account years ago. I'm just going to say that.
That was me applauding.
Hence the sunglasses in the studio, Big Dog.
So you had to pick one.
Yeah.
Marvel or DC?
You know what? I grew up kind of liking both. DC for me is more mythic. I mean, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. How do you top? I mean, look, what the Avengers did with their movies, what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is phenomenal, because I think Marvel Comics kind of lost their way, like the print editions, the actual stories. Mm-hmm. DC, the books and characters are great, and their movies suck ass.
Yes.
Oh,
they're rushed. They're rushed. They were playing catch up. Last 10 years they've been playing catch up. We were just talking about that. Our interview with Bob down there. He owns Metro Entertainment, right in Santa Barbara, yes. And he's been in business almost 30 years.
No, 27 or 29.
Yeah, I've probably gone to his comic book shop when I was a kid. If he goes back that far, I mean, I'd be like, yeah. And he was saying the same thing. If you want dark grit, that's DC. If you kind of want a good continued story, Marvel. Marvel's been doing it with the movies, but they lost their way story arcs.
Really?
So I'm a DC guy, and my all-time favorite character is Green Lantern. I love the Green Lantern.
Even before that Green Lantern,
everything that has to do with Green
shit
Lantern.
pile
On the back of my laptop, I have all the Lantern Corps symbols.
I can see it
everywhere. Yeah, staring at it.
I've seen it.
But the Green Lantern movie was trash, absolute trash.
It was.
But I have a very unpopular opinion of one character. Superman is the worst character in any comic.
I beg to differ, and I'll tell you why.
Adam, bro. Adam.
Okay, here's the deal. Superman, yes, he is the Swiss Army knife of superheroes. He, outside of like Martian Manhunter, nobody can do more than Superman can.
Right.
So here's why Superman's interesting. You're right. He's the Uber man. He can do anything. Why is it then that he has not conquered us? His power level makes him the infinite. He's a god. But what makes him Superman isn't the accident of birth. It's because he was raised by good people in Kansas. That's what makes him the fact that at the end of the day, he's a red state, shit on his boots kid who went to church and was probably a Cub Scout, but he's also the most powerful creature on the planet. That dichotomy is so interesting, and so people keep trying to make him dark. When you make him dark, you ruin him. If you leave the good guy with all the power, then you have to get creative. Yes. Doomsday, when they killed him, was the least creative thing they could have done. Let's just make somebody so badass that all it is a fight.
Yes. Have you read Red Sun?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that's a counter to it, where he lands in Russia and stuff like that. No.
Okay. The nail is where instead of the nail, there was a nail on the road that hit Pa and Ma Kent's truck tire.
Okay.
That's why they were there to see the crashed rocket. What if the nail wasn't there, and instead he ended up being found by Amish people, and he never comes out? Oh. They find him, and they just isolate him, and he
just churning butter all day. No Wi-Fi and shit. Oh, that's crazy. All right, so why, Kyle? Why don't you like that one?
I just consider him the most boring character out there. He's got every single power. He's got X-ray vision. He's got laser vision. He's got frost vision.
My favorite is he can hear everybody's heartbeat on the planet at the same time.
He can fly. He's invincible. Mm-hmm. And his
underwear on the outside
is a rock.
Yeah. Okay, but it's a special rock. It's a special rock.
Two weaknesses. Magic.
Yes, that's why he gets his ass whooped by Shazam or Black Adam.
Marvel's knocked his ass out.
Yep.
I can.
Okay. But I mean, if anybody listening, you can add us. That's fine. Bring it. Yeah. We already had hate mail this week. Well, not one. Just one. It wasn't too bad, actually.
No, here's the thing. I grew into my love for Superman. I came up on Chris Claremont X-Men So I was there at the beginning of the grim, gritty, you know, the seeds that were planted that made
some of the best storylines by Claremont.
Yeah.
Issue 100 of X-Men was mega. It's huge back then. Great storylines.
Yeah, man. You know, Wolverine was my jam, but then I realized that there was some. As I got older, I started to mature into my appreciation of Superman because I had seen the grim and gritty, and I thought, okay, but what if he's actually he's not complicated? What if he's just actually a pretty good dude, and by luck of birth, he's also a god? Now what is he?
Right.
That's
what he can. I mean, yeah.
You know, speaking of that, have you seen the movie Brightburn?
Oh
yes.
Oh, I forgot about it. Forgot that.
Fantastic take on that.
Yes, that kid.
Superman wasn't a good guy. What if Superman was a twisted little sociopath?
Little shitbag.
Yeah.
That kid. I was like.
Yeah, problems. And then I love at the end of it. Your spoiler alert. At the end where they start, the guy's on the news and he's talking about all the Justice League and like everybody from the Justice League is evil. Yeah. There's a guy out there in the ocean. He's sinking ships and drowning sailors.
Well, because Aquaman sucks.
A woman flying around in an invisible car and stringing people up by the rope.
Yep.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was I was super excited when that came out, and it
was an underrated movie. I actually thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
Here's the thing: Spider-Man is a great comic book character.
Yes.
Superman is American mythology. Batman is American mythology. Just if Superman and the Lone Ranger are the same level American iconic thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Superman and apple pie are American. Spider-Man looks cool in the movies. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it doesn't. It translates okay, but if you have to reboot something 3 times like they have, then either you're lacking creative juices or whatever, or you're just not giving it the opportunity.
They finally got him right. They did finally get him right.
Finally.
Yeah, I enjoyed the new Spider-Man. Morbius. We just watched the trailer for Morbius. That looks good, even though it's Jared Leto. I mean, we just won't bring up Suicide Squad.
He's not the Joker, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's the whole thing. And one thing just go back. We didn't ask you about this. Top 5 bands. I mean, if you had to name 5 bands right now to listen to.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. Throw out 5 bands. Not the same ones I guess we hear, but who are you going with?
So you're a Dead Man number 1?
Let's see. As far as who I'm listening to on the air right now, I Prevail. I think they're doing some really interesting stuff. I don't think they sound like anybody else out there right now. And then meanwhile, on the flip side of that, Dirty Honey just sounds like they're getting high and listening to Aerosmith records, but that's totally fine with me because it kicks ass, it's bluesy, and it's fun. Let's see. But then I'm going to veer away because I listen to some weird shit. I dig Government Mule, one of my very favorite bands, kind of blues rock, southern blues rock. I will listen to Willie Nelson until the day I die, and then throw Miles Davis in there for my jazz, and I'm a happy dude. My Spotify, it definitely looks like it was programmed by a musician who loves weed.
Fair enough. Who'd you say, Kyle? Who's your top one right now? Mine's Clutch. I'm still sticking with Clutch for these years.
My top one?
Yeah, I'm still going Clutch.
If we're talking metal, it has been and probably always will be Slipknot, even though
the
last album was a big disappointment for me. They had
really the one that sold the best for them. Really? Okay.
There was maybe 4 or 5 good songs on that whole album, and the rest of it, I wasn't into. I thought Point 5 The Great Chapter was a much better album that they came out with.
If I'm going to go, if it's metal, I don't know that I can get very far away from anything that Zakk Wylde does. I like the fact that there's a little bit of that Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath DNA in him.
I think there's a lot. Yeah, I would say there's a lot. When you listen to him, even when he does acoustic, you're like, whoa. Sometimes like, let Ozzy go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, but he's still a great musician, though.
Yeah, but then he plays guitar, and it's just, he's like the spiritual brother of Dimebag. He was just.
Oh, that reminds me. My favorite concert I ever got to was 2001. So it was Pantera, Slayer, Static X, Morbid Angel, and a band called Scrape. But they were just a rip-off Pantera band. But it was at Bakersfield at the Coliseum, whatever the hell they called it at the time. And when you go through the doors, there was gurneys all down the hallway. So you knew that shit was going to be epic. And that was the night that I bought $200 for the Jack in the Box tacos. And Tom Araya and Carrie King came walking into the Jack in the Box, and I had no shirt on. It was super fucked up.
And they came in, I was all fangirl because I couldn't hear anything. And then the lady's like, I can't serve you because I don't have like clothes. And so I bought $200 worth of tacos. And the guy was just back there slamming the thing all just all pissed off and shit. And I think I pretty much fed the band or whoever. I don't know. I was with Doug at the time. And I don't know how we got back. Sure. But that was a great show, though. Pantera.
I always like a concert that you don't know how you got back from. That's a good show.
I got 100 of those.
That's a good story.
I got 100 of those. I mean,
I played shows like that.
Right. I think the craziest one was Typo Negative at Pantera when they were touring. I saw them at Washington, and I was tripping balls like big time. And that's when I got to have a drink with Dimebag Goat. It came out with a Halloween mask on, but she saw the Red Goat and a bottle of Black Tooth Grit on it, taped on her. It gave the first few people a line of shot. I didn't realize the importance of that moment at the time. I was fucking down the rabbit hole.
Right.
I mean, I didn't realize it, but I look back now, like, whew,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you were time traveling, bro.
Oh, big time. I was orbiting fucking Jupiter.
Well, hey, Dr. Nick, we really appreciate you coming on to our show. We've had a blast talking with you. Everything from aliens to ghosts to bands to weed,
music, video games,
everything in between.
Tofu rice.
So where can people find you? Where can people listen to you?
You can find me on 103.1 The Edge, which is 103.1 FM in the Twin Falls market. I know you guys aren't in Twin Falls, but I am.
Possibly, maybe.
On social media, just look for Dr. Nick Redbone. On Facebook, you'll find me. And on Instagram, it's Dr_Nick_Redbone. And on YouTube, you can find me, Dr. Nick Redbone, as well.
All right,
perfect.
Outstanding, sir. Appreciate your time.
We want to say thank you. And guys, just hold on real quick. We're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back with some more good shit for you.
Talking with the local legend, voice of the community, superstar Dr. Nick Redbone, who also has a sandwich named after him, and I'm pretty jealous about that. We want to thank him for helping us lighten up the mood with what's going on in the world right now. And you can follow him at Facebook at Dr. Nick Redbone, Instagram at Dr.Nick_Redbone, and listen to him in the Magic Valley area and beyond at 103.1 The Edge. His links will be in the info of the podcast channel. He has 3 shows a day, so there really isn't any excuse not to with all your free time, unless you're into K-pop or something. I'm not judging. Where am I? But seriously, thank you everybody for listening. You want to be sure to check out our next episode where we will be interviewing a famous college sportscaster as well as Santa Barbara's #1 go-to man for entertainment. But you greedy bastards will have to wait until next time. For now, let's get back to the action and horns in the air.
And we are back from our break. Want to congratulate anybody who is still listening.
You're either insane or extremely lonely during the this pandemic, but we appreciate it.
Regardless, we still appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Might as well just finish it out with us, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you got this far, you were able to listen to our first 2 interviews that we had. Our first one was with Nate Murray from the city of Twin Falls. That was actually really informative. I learned a lot of stuff I didn't really know.
Economics. Economics, bitch.
I haven't been to school, and
even when I went to school, I didn't study economics. Oh, the guy broke it down for us, let us know, and even if you're not in the city that we may or may not be in, if you need information from the people, just reach out to them. That's what we did.
Yeah, and we were. And
they'd be happy to.
Provided a lot of information about us and how the city's dealing with the coronavirus, and I mean, and it's not just a local thing either. That applies to cities all over the United States and how we're dealing with it, and so this was just an example of us and how we.
I thought it was a good example.
Here. Yeah, it was great.
Glad I picked him.
And then with Dr. Nick, I mean, even
Maniac.
though we were kind of off topic with a lot of things, it just kind of bullshitting our way around. I mean,
Gotta lighten it
It was
up.
great. I mean, yeah, it's good to have, especially, there's a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety going around. People not sure if their jobs are going to still be there, or if their business is still going to be working. And
that one I could imagine. I mean, the work thing, I think is a little bit easier to accept. To be honest.
Yeah.
The losing your business thing, I think it'd be hard.
Yeah.
Just,
And then the stress about losing your business and any any employees that you may have, if you're employing 3, 4 or 50, 60, you're worrying about what they're going to do too, because as much as people like to say it, business owners care about their employees. They do. And so they're stressing too.
the business doesn't operate without those people.
With Dr. Nick's interview, we wanted to bring a little more humor into this whole thing, and kind of give you
A whole other level of professionalism.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say that right now.
I don't know who you're talking about,
Yeah.
but
Point at me.
but yeah, so for this next segment, we're actually going to do something new, because over the last couple of weeks, we've been receiving some mail from people kind of around the country.
I was surprised,
kind of
actually.
surprised.
I was, wow.
And so we got a couple of these, and so we are going to get right into the mail call.
Mail call. This is gonna be awesome.
Sit back down and shut your trap. It's time for mail call.
All right, so first up, we have Aiden from Boston, Massachusetts. He says, you guys mentioned you were vets, and I was wondering what branch you were in and what your job was. All right, well, I'm in the Army National Guard. I am stationed at Gowan Air Base, basically, and it's a joint base with the Navy, the Air Force, and the Army. And I've been doing that for 3 years now. I'm an 88 Mike, which is the motor transport operator. But for everybody who doesn't really know what that is, that's driving big trucks. Big trucks around, taking whatever they need.
It's military talk for trucker.
Ass crack hanging out.
Yeah.
That kind of
Trucker
stuff.
hat. Yelling, show your tits.
What about you, Ken?
So back in the early 90s, so 92 through 98, 19 Delta, Cav.
World War One.
But yeah, right after the Civil War, actually, I first enlisted and fought every major conflict I could find. I'm old and immortal, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. So
what was your job?
Well, they call it Jaffa at the time. So when we still thought that our current enemies had armor, my job was to go out, scout, and identify said tanks or armor, which it wasn't. It was like little mini Toyota trucks with steel plates and shit.
In the back.
Yeah. So my job was just basically call it out. I see them. They look like assholes.
So he had a lot more action than I do. I don't do shit.
It's all good. Dude, we'll find out. There's a lot of work in that.
All right. So Liz from Anchorage, Alaska. What's better, Marvel or DC?
Yes.
We have this discussion all the time, and I know what your take is, but my take, I am a DC guy. I'm DC through and through. I do like Marvel. There's a lot of characters in Marvel that I like, but I don't like the feel-good kind of very cartoon. Well, it's all cartoony, obviously.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'm more into the DC, kind of the darker themes and kind of the more life and death, and just the
realism
situation. Yeah,
the realism of it.
But yeah, I'm definitely more of a DC guy. My favorite character of all time is Green Lantern, and as Ken can attest, he's staring at it right now. On the back of my laptop, I actually have all the
Lantern rings,
the Lantern Corps,
yeah,
all their symbols.
I was supposed to have one of those, but.
It was just a ring. It wasn't
just
the actual symbol. So,
but whatever.
Whatever. So what about you?
Well, like I said earlier, we were talking about it. I'm about the story arcs. So earlier in reading comics, I was from a kid in the 80s. Marvel was killing it. And then in the 90s, they started to really, I don't know what, there was probably turnover or whatever. The storylines just got really, really weak. And then DC stepped up. And so I'll just switch back and forth for a good read. But if I had to say what I'd rather watch now, Marvel's been killing it.
Well, that's movies. We're talking. Well,
I mean, which is a lot of reference for people. So I would say Marvel's been killing it. DC's got some catching up to do, but they're capable of doing it.
Yeah.
And,
I think DC has better characters. Marvel just has a better foothold.
Maybe just coming out the gate, they did better. They had a better plan, starting with Iron Man.
Yeah.
Over 10 years ago or whatever, and they started with that, and they already knew 10 years advance is where we should be.
Yeah.
And so DC's like, oh shit, and played Scramble.
Yeah.
They scrambled up to it, and introduced like 18 characters in one movie and killed off one major one. You know what I mean? And it was like, wow, that was a lot.
All right, so here we go. We got a local question from Ryan in Boise, Idaho.
Not local to us, or is it? We don't know. Just saying.
Local, state-wise, I mean.
Yeah, we won't deny we're in Idaho.
He says, I really enjoyed your life hack segment. Do you have any other life hack knowledge you can pass down? Absolutely, we fucking do, but you ain't gonna get none right now.
You got to tune in.
That's unlock and key. You got to earn it.
Yeah, you got to return. We need the return viewers, right? The thousands are already out there.
But no, seriously, we are definitely going to bring back the life hack segment. That was a big hit. We had a lot of people. I don't know if it helped them, but I hope they read.
I can't see how any of that was helpful to anybody.
Oh no, it was
unless they were trying to injure themselves or.
Come on, I saved time by boiling all my water. And
yeah, that's true. And then this time of age, you got to boil it and thaw it out, and I mean, it sounds like conserving electricity and stuff. Sound advice from.
All right, so our next one. Oh shit, DeAndre from Nunya fucking Business.
Appreciate that.
All right,
that sounds like a great place.
We know this is a good one coming. Yeah. I have to disagree with you guys about reality TV. Nope. I think it's great. At least some shows like Survivor and Kitchen Nightmares. Suck a fat dick and honestly hate these shows.
I appreciate the response. Yeah, GG, bro.
GG, bro.
I appreciate the response to the fact that I can't stand reality TV. So that means you listen to at least a part of the show. And reality TV is just, well, okay, so let me take it back now. Okay, I usually trash on, but I documentaries. Tiger King. That's something different.
Not reality, that's documentary.
I mean, it's reality in a sense, but I'll watch a good documentary. But reality shows are, they suck ass.
Yeah. There's some of them. Like, in all honesty, DeAndre, I'm actually with you on that. I am a Survivor fan.
Boo.
I've seen every fuck you.
Boo.
I've seen every season.
A Navy SEAL lost the first season of Survivor to a guy that walked around butt naked.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the nature of the game.
Oh, okay, but real Survivor. The Navy SEAL would have killed that man and made like a flesh bag out of him to stay warm.
Lone Survivor. Come on.
The Lone Survivor. That's what I was saying. I'm just reality. I mean, Bachelor, all that shit. I'm like, come on. I know it's an escapism, but don't call it reality.
Don't you do it.
Don't you do it.
Don't you do it to yourself.
Get loud in here. Thanks, DeAndre.
So our next one is Lewis or Lois. Not really sure.
Luis?
Sorry if we got that fucking wrong. So we're going to just say both of them.
Yeah, we're not.
Call it good.
Yeah, there you go.
But from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Battle Creek. What are they famous for?
They have. Is there a automotive thing there? There's something
Eminem.
big there.
They're famous for Eminem. Oh, it's Detroit, whatever. Close enough.
It's all the same state.
It's all the same state. That's all that matters. I say we're experts in geography.
Lois/Lewis says the
Lee.
difference between your first and second podcast is worlds apart. How do you plan on expanding and getting better in the future? Actually, we talk about this all the time.
We do.
First of all, it's the feedback that we get from you guys, telling us what you want to hear, what you think doesn't really belong in the podcast. Are we losing people in certain spots? So that's where it comes to.
Well, the big difference was in the first one, I was drunk.
Oh, we did it all in one take.
And we did it all in one take.
The whole thing was in one take on the first episode.
You hit recording, so we're going to do a trial run.
The first episode, we look back, and it's more like that, like the cringe.
Yeah, but you can't take it down. It's on the internet. I mean, leave it out there.
You had to use it as a stepping stone.
Absolutely.
That was how.
So the main goal is no day drinking. During like the interviews and stuff, I promise not to do that because, like I said, I'll just be smashed drunk by the second interview and it'll all be bad.
Taking shots on air.
Just taking shots on air or just leaving to go to the liquor store in the middle of it.
But some of the big changes that we have coming up, that we have in the future, we're not going to give you a timeline right now because, honestly, we don't have the timeline right now.
Well, nothing's.
But we purchased new equipment. First of all, we're using different programs to record. We have new mics. We have, so one of the things that we've been talking about is when we're going to start doing our video podcast.
Yes.
Is we're going to start at least for YouTube, is we're going to have a video portion of this.
Oh, just
is that the whole thing? Yeah, we're going to have basically 3 angles for cameras and
one right on my front bump.
Watch, I don't know.
Right underneath the table, right on my junk.
Yeah, I don't want anybody creaming their pants when they see us.
When I wear the freedom shorts, they don't even know yet.
Two tassels and
Just got the freedom shorts. I stand up and like, whoa, didn't warm me on that one.
yeah, so we're looking to expand to doing a video podcast. We'll still have the audio portion for Spotify, for SoundCloud, for Acast, but the YouTube we're going to expand into the video portion of this podcast. And the other the other thing we talked about is we will eventually, it's going to probably be a while down the line, is doing a live podcast with Collins.
Oh shit!
So we'll have,
that can't go bad. We have to learn how to do the delay thing.
Oh yeah. You mean I have to learn?
Well, you have to learn how to. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. He carries the workload of that.
That as of right now is just talk.
Yeah.
The video portion is definitely in the works.
That will happen.
But the live portion is just in talks right now, so we have to figure that out. And now we're gonna go.
That's gonna be something else.
And pretty soon here, we are actually hoping to move into a new studio.
We were thinking about that before all this shit went sideways. So
well, I mean, with the economy now, that might change a little bit. But I mean, those are just a couple of things that's really going into.
I would consider us essential that we should be able to travel to the studio.
Oh yeah, it's your job.
We're essential, I would think.
It's your job. So
we're informing people.
So the only reasons you can leave your house right now is for work, or groceries, or medical assistance.
But we're not
that's what they suggest.
So actually.
All right, so we got Corey from Bakersfield, California.
Don't even get me started, Baco.
I'm sorry if you are from Bakersfield.
The armpit of
California.
California.
Been there many times, and I hate the goddamn place.
Yeah.
Oildale.
Oildale.
You are surviving there somehow.
You're doing all right.
Hats off to you. But anyway, Corey says, have you guys watched Tiger King on Netflix?
Oh, Jesus, yes.
It could possibly be the greatest show ever. I binge watched the entire season in one day and couldn't take my eyes off the train wreck happening before my eyes. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I double down on what you just said, Corey. That is such a great show.
You cheated on me with that, basically, by getting 6 episodes ahead of me. After I told you about it.
I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning and just binge watching. I couldn't stop.
But I'll give you credit a minute. You created a website that night, so you showed something productive for sitting up all night while I was crashed out.
You're right. The way I phrased it is not just a train wreck. I said it's a car accident that happens on a train track. Yeah. With a freighter train coming by about to hit it, and you know what's going to happen.
Yes, the train's
because
full of
the two people are trapped in the cars and they can't get out, and that train's not stopping.
And you're just watching it,
and you know it's going to happen, but you can't.
The only couple of episodes I watched, I will say though, just from what I saw there, if that isn't a reflection of this our society, the United States of America's issues with ego. Look at yourselves like that. Just a couple episodes, I could just see it.
The fact that crazy bastard got 19% of the vote when he ran for governor.
Joe Exotic or whatever, right?
Joe Exotic,
yeah. That tells you something about the voting. What do you want to call it?
That tells you something. Well, no, I'm not going to say it because we don't want to put anybody.
That's true. Yeah, sorry guys.
But
no spoilers.
You know what we're thinking.
Yeah. Bath salts.
And all right, so we'll do this last question here. This is Albert from Salt Lake, Utah. Albert says, I just wanted to say that your podcast has actually been a relief from all the social media these days because of all the talk about all the talk is just coronavirus. It's nice to get a little humor out there without having to focus on the shitstorm outside. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, appreciate that, Albert.
And we try to. We still got to inform the best we can, I suppose, and then just start our own train wreck after we hit you with the facts, and after that it's just fucking all downhill on fire.
Here's a scenario. What if they come to you and they're like, "We want to make a reality show of your podcast."
I'm a whore. I would. It depends on how much you give me. I'm sure I would do it. I mean, can I match the train wreck of that show?
No, but your hate of reality shows.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't like their reality shows.
But your show,
my show,
that's gonna change the game.
Fucking off the rails, dude.
Yeah, definitely change the game.
There wouldn't be anything. Just me sitting on the couch saving the world by not going outside.
Oh yeah, 6 months ago you were lazy.
Yes.
Now you're a fucking hero.
I'm a hero. I expect my congressional medal of anything to come soon.
I'm surprised you haven't been kicked out of the house yet and told to leave by Shayla.
No.
She has a heart of gold to be able to put up with your ass.
She is a soldier of her own. I mean, that's a warrior right there. I love my wife, and she's put up with me for 15 years now. And these guys are putting up with us for
I don't know
however long we're on the recording.
I'm itching to leave as soon as the podcast
right?
is over.
I'm itching for you to leave.
I lose my virginity over here, man.
I'm down.
All right, so we only have
House full
one
of
more
cockblockers.
section. We only have one more segment to go, and
Oh, fuck
all
yeah,
you
it's just-
listeners out there know what's coming. So, Logan, how about you bring us on in?
Florida Man.
All right, you are damn right. It is time for the Florida
Oh,
Man
look at this guy.
segment that we got, and we got a fucking whopper.
Why do
of
people
one
always
for you.
cry after they get arrested? I mean, they do stupid shit and then they just
I don't
cry.
think he's crying because they got
Oh, no,
arrested.
no, no.
He's crying because
of what
of
he,
the story.
yeah, what he's doing. So we'll get into this right now. So this, you go ahead, hit them with the
ahead,
headline. No, you hit him with the headline.
All right, so the Florida Man segment that we found today is a fucking gem. Florida Man turns himself in for murder of an imaginary friend.
We've all done that. Not to turn in himself.
But you don't tell
I ain't
anybody.
snitching on me. I don't snitch on myself. I ain't gonna say what I've done.
Yeah, you don't tell anybody
but
about it.
you just don't stitch him out.
So, Florida man Jeff Gaylord reportedly turned himself into Jacksonville Sheriff's officials for murder, and the victim was his imaginary friend.
He legit looks
So,
like he's upset that he did that.
Right below this, we have the mugshot of this man, and if you can, go online, type in "Florida man kills imaginary friend."
Yeah, this
and
guy
you pop up
seriously
his-
looks like
his
he
mugshot.
regrets his actions.
He looks like straight up depressed that he did this. Like he seriously believes that he did.
Oh yeah, it gets better.
So continuing on, it says Gaylord, 37, told officers he had stabbed Mr. Happy
Good name.
with the. Obviously, I wonder if he stole that from the show Happy.
Oh
When
no,
that
Mr.
cop
Happy.
has the
That's
imaginary.
what I call my
unicorn.
wang. Always called it that.
That's imaginary.
It's
More
a
like a
fish
Vienna
story.
sausage.
It's a huge fish.
He told officers he had stabbed Mr. Happy with a kitchen knife, cut up the body with a hatchet, and buried the victim in his
And he
backyard.
looks tired too. Like he put in a lot of work into this murder.
Well, not just that. I think he is.
Have you ever cut up a body? I'm not saying I
I
asked
don't
for
know.
a friend.
He probably debated it back and forth in his head whether or not he was going to turn himself in. I mean, but
Well, in between bags, basalt.
he
Keep
just
going though.
obviously basalt and genetics.
Basalt genetics. Remember?
Worst combo you got. He said the two had been friends for 7 years and remorsefully added that he deserved the death penalty, preferably right now.
No trial, no nothing. He was ready to just go. I'm done.
Yeah. And so you ask, what is his motive?
Yeah, why? Mr.
His
Happy
room
sounded
was
like a
a-
good guy.
His room was a mess all the time with his toys and dolls.
Which sounds creepy as fuck. Just as you
Gaylord
said
told
that.
police. He left his empty vodka bottles all over the kitchen.
Oh man.
I wonder if he was old enough to buy vodka.
Oh well, that's what I'm saying. It comes off creepy. Was he old enough to buy vodka,
So
or
if
was
he's
this like
imaginary,
a?
does other people see him? So that means he has to go get the vodka for him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So does this guy
so he
contribute to a
continues
minor?
on why
Yeah.
he did this. Never left the toilet seat down when he peed.
Wait.
He messed.
Never left it down or up?
Well, he said it said down.
Yeah,
on
I
the
know,
thing.
but okay.
Never. I assume he meant up.
Yeah.
He messed up my apartment to the point where I just couldn't get it cleaned.
Yeah. Can stay focused
So
when
did
you're
he
all
take
spun
shits in
out.
the corner, or
Well, that was what
like
I'm wondering.
start
Just
burning the carpet?
cigarette burns in the carpet. The
Whatever
smell
it
of
is.
chemicals from the lab that you have in your house.
Pizza boxes.
Pizza boxes,
and
right.
Whatever it may be. So
And he pees all over the
before-
seat because that's
Before
uncool.
his friend Hap started doing drugs and acting weird,
What?
Gaylord reportedly lamented, "He was my BFF, best friend forever."
Oh, that's sweet.
Are you sure it was the imaginary friend doing the drugs?
Well, I'm gonna go out on
And I
a
bet
limb
you I know
here.
what drug it is.
Bath salts.
That's all. Obviously, it's bath salts.
It's just because it's Florida. I'm sure they do plenty of other drugs down there, but bath
is
salts
number
are
one.
it seems like it. So
Are those
so
even
Hap.
illegal? Like, can you still buy them from smoke? I remember you used to buy them from
Unfortunately,
smoke shops.
that's still an issue. Yeah, because all they do is change a portion of the actual ingredients that are listed, and you got the same shit out there on the streets. And you can see blocks of these guys down there, zombie blocks. I mean, but you just still see this every day that somebody whacked their imaginary friend and actually snitched themselves out.
He wasn't sober. He's not. He couldn't piss a clean test. You know.
Oh, I don't think so.
No way.
No.
So he also said, "We go dancing, play on the children's park equipment,
This guy-
smoke nutrients of doom metal,
Don't
Listen
blame it
to
on the
it
metal. Don't blame it on the
and he
metal.
listened to it for hours with the lights off."
Okay, after they had gone dancing, but they go dancing to play in children's park, which is again, I'm concerned because this guy mentions a lot of weird shit. Don't blame the doom metal. Besides
So
the fact
what
that
are the
most doom
parents
metal.
think? So is he going out there when there's other people at this park, or is he going like after hours?
Well, I'm thinking if he
and
goes
doing
out there,
that?
the park clears. pretty quick.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're a parent and you have like a 3-year-old child swinging on
And
the
this guy's out
swing.
there screaming doom metal lyrics and shit.
Yeah, and he's like talking to somebody next to him who's not really next to him because he's imaginary. What are you gonna do?
I'm out.
Yeah, I'm bailing.
Or I want to see who Mr.
You're like,
what's Mr. Happy up to?
Let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, sit back with your phone.
Start to record.
This is gonna be good. Oh, they fighting.
Gradually, they drifted apart, stopped communicating as well as they once did, and had a falling out over a birthday celebration.
I wish he went into more detail about the birthday celebration.
Whose
I was
birthday
curious.
was it?
Well, that and what went wrong? Was it the choice of decorations?
Cake.
Cake.
He didn't like funfetti.
Oh,
He wanted chocolate, damn it.
Funfetti's the best cake.
Oh, hands down.
Don't at me.
Hands down.
Don't. Yeah, I will fight you if you don't like funfetti.
Straight up fighting words right
Fighting
there.
words right there.
So it also says one which resulted in Mr. Gaylord being arrested for DUI after revealing at Hooters instead of Mr. Happy, who he claims was responsible. What the fuck are they talking about?
So he was rebelling. He was
the
partying.
birthday party.
Yeah, he was at Hooters getting fucked up instead of Mr. Happy, who
That
claims.
makes sense. Yeah, so he was drunk and he was doing to chicks or whatever.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, he was having a good time at Hooters.
To the girls, and Mr. Happy was upset because he wasn't doing to him.
Nope, no, I think it's flat.
Instead of Mr. Happy, yeah.
Who he claims was responsible though for the drinking.
So Gaylord says that drunk driving incident I got unfairly blamed
Of
for,
course.
and just how messy he had become put me over the edge, and I murdered him. It was an overreaction. I should have listened and got us into counseling. But no, I did the unthinkable and killed my best friend. I'm a terrible, terrible person. I need to be punished.
Not too. He was considering the counseling part. I would still consider that.
At least he believes in justice.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really shoot down this guy's honesty. I mean,
Yeah, you can't call for other people's justice when he's got his own hangovers.
this guy balls out, was willing to take the death penalty for this.
Yeah. Well, he said Gaylord was very intoxicated and threatened to kill people after they told him they could not give him the death penalty.
We're sorry, sir, but we can't accommodate you
Despite
today.
not executing him on the spot, he was booked on multiple charges pending a hearing. Bail has not been set as of this report.
I don't think you let a guy like that go on bail. I think you keep him out of neighborhoods, away from Chuck E. Cheese's, Toys R Us, shit like that, and schools.
Well, yeah, I don't know what arresting is going to do. Like, what do you book him for? I guess.
Well, you book him for showing up at the
officer
police station and threatening to kill police officers while he was drunk.
for not killing him.
Yeah, for not
I
killing
think
him.
you
But
don't get arrested. I think you should be sent to an institute.
I'm thinking.
That's just
I think their
fine.
institutions are full down there. I'm just gonna say that.
There's one on every block.
I don't think there's a lot of empty bed space in some of the asylums and shit down there. From the stuff I see out of Florida.
Yeah, just a side note, we are not making fun of mental illness. We are just making fun of this
bath
guy.
salts.
Yeah, bath salts.
Bath salts.
Bath salts and genetics.
Yeah, this is 30% genetics and 80% bath salts. Math that shit.
All right, well, that does it, guys. We have reached the end of our episode 3 of Adulting is Hard,
That's
the
3
Kyle and
episodes.
Ken podcast. We want to thank everybody for listening in. We hope you enjoyed the 2 interviews that we did today.
Yes.
We hope you enjoyed listening to our Florida man and about him killing his imaginary friend.
Yes. And write us.
Yeah, keep sending us messages. We're going to keep doing this the mail call, and we're
long
going
as
to
they
make
keep
this a regular
emailing
thing. And we, as we said before, we are definitely going to bring back the life hacks to get you guys some help getting through life, and we might even have a quarantine special life hacks. You know what to do when you're at home bored alone.
Don't wear pants. Sorry that. Leave the windows open. Don't wear
Yeah,
pants.
don't want to do laundry? Just go around naked.
There you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Well, I wasn't supposed to give any life hacks. They haven't earned it yet.
Oh yeah,
That's
wait.
free.
Okay, take that one back. But that one you should just be doing anyways. Just walk around
Free-balling
naked,
in the
free
shit.
balling it, or whatever, free
Just like
free
Joe
clamming
Exotic.
it, or whatever. I don't know.
All right, guys. So be sure to go to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Spotify, Acast. Follow us. Adulting is Hard. Twitter and Facebook @IsAdulting. And you know where to find us next time. We will be back with episode 4. We got 2 more interviews coming up for you guys. We're going to keep these rolling out because we love you so much. And you are very welcome before you say thank you.
I heard
Again, keep sending us messages. You can send us an email, podcast.adultingishard@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Or give a shit like DeAndre from None of Your Fucking Business.
Challenging me on that. Reality TV still sucks balls. Unless
Not
I'm in
legit
it.
on that subject. All right, guys, take care, and we will
Stay
see you
safe.
next time.
Wash your hands.